Hello, my name is Prime, and welcome back to ETS2 Showcases, and welcome to Copenhagen. Well, more specifically, an industry just outside of Copenhagen along the coastline. And today we're going to be hauling some yogurt across to Karlskrona, but we're going to take more of the scenic route today, specifically here in Copenhagen, as we're going to drive through the main part of town itself. As for those who don't know, Copenhagen in the 1.57 update has been completely rebuilt as part of the Scandinavia refresh, so I think it deserves to be explored, and that's exactly what we'll be doing today. So without further ado, let's get our Scania 560S Super started up and get on the road. And just to clarify, in today's video, I am not using any third-party mods. Everything you hear and see is Euro Truck Simulator 2 through and through. All right, let's get rolling, and we actually just have to turn around here to go out of this facility. You know, content creation things, got to make sure the lighting is nice for everyone to be able to see the truck decently, and I didn't want the shadow, so I turned the truck around here, and well, we're just gonna do the exact same to head out this way. And actually, before we get on the road exploring Copenhagen itself, I want to show off an extra feature that came in with 1.57 that was included within the actual changelog itself for the full release. Nothing in the beta that at least I had noticed, and this shows my observation skills. ETS2 now has trailer suspension, so you can add these functions in the general options for the game, and you can put your trailer up and you can put the trailer down as well, which is honestly a really neat addition to see. And the suspension reset button that is also available for configuration will reset everything, including the trailer. Another nice addition to 1.57, which continually showed how impressive the update was, and honestly, it was just great to see another little feature like that get confirmed in the official changelog. So with that said, happy 1.57 release to everyone. Now, I will say that the update has come with, let's say, mixed performance or reaction within the community. In terms of the features itself, obviously what I've been talking about in the beta for a long time, major features here for ETS2, features that are incredible to have and, well, really important for what's coming up here very soon with the Nordic Horizons DLC, specifically where we're driving today, of course, in the Scandinavia refresh. And besides that, the other DLC updates and so on, this more functional feature of the trailer suspension is another nice addition to have. But some people have reported issues with the games crashing, both on the American Truck Simulator side and the Euro Truck Simulator side of 1.57. I personally have not experienced the crashing of the games yet with 1.57, both in beta and in the official release here that I am using today. However, I want to make this very clear. Once again, I am not using any third-party modifications for the game. Everything that you're seeing in these videos and recently across the beta, this still applies. Everything, I haven't been using mods. Everything is just base game Euro Truck Simulator 2 or official DLC content from SCS Software. And I never thought that light would change, but here we are. We're all good. So potentially that is the reason why I haven't experienced it, even if you don't have mods that you think should conflict with the 1.57 update or have seemingly been updated. There may genuinely be a new conflict that some of the developers of the mods don't even know about yet. So just keep that in mind, especially if you do run a lot of mods. There could be something new that's come up. 1.57, obviously, and we're going to go exterior cam while the Scania beeps at us for, you know, having trees and poles near the near the side of the road when we're trying to indicate. There were some pretty significant, you know, even graphical changes as well with the addition of HDR support and so on. So if you were using a mod previously that would adjust graphics, especially lighting, that could be causing a conflict. You know, other gameplay improvements as well with the 1.57 update. Just there could be something going on that, again, is causing your terminal crash. So keep that in mind. Try, if you can, to just load in with absolutely no mods. It may cause havoc in your save, but see if that saves it. Or potentially just wait and see until your whatever mod developers it may be for your games. Let them have some time to update and fix update the mods themselves and fix some of the issues that could be present. Otherwise, though, haven't had any issues on my end, so it could be just a little bit dependent per person, and again, the mods that you do use, so keep that in mind. Now we are getting very, very close to the release of the Nordic Horizons DLC. Every day that goes on gets even closer, obviously, but that is very, very exciting, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the DLC very soon. I, of course, will be doing plenty of coverage of the Nordic Horizons DLC, from shorter first look videos to longer hauls as well, potentially even across the entire region, which is extremely exciting. I'm looking forward to Nordic Horizons. I think many of you are. Once again, still don't know what potential price point we could be looking at for the Nordic Horizons DLC, but it's going to be a fairly expansive DLC, given that it's the largest one in terms of map coverage area to date for ETS2. So we don't really know, and it could be pretty significant. It could be a little bit on the lighter side, and we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Now I'm going to get to the left lane here, but Copenhagen looks incredible as we get down to more of the downtown core here. We go the underpass. So for those who may have missed the intro there, or just don't know, Copenhagen has been completely rebuilt from the essentially ground up as part of the Scandinavia refresh. Not every area was done like this, but Copenhagen is one that, well, was completely rebuilt. Brand new, well, pretty much everything. Landmarks, buildings, you name it, it's new. And as we kind of explore here, it's fairly evident the standard that we're running now for Copenhagen compared to what it was before. Unrecognizable, to say the least. And it looks so good. And I love, just for example, the signs on this side of buildings and so on. Those little details mean a lot. And when it comes to vegetation, like around this building here and so on, everything just looks so incredibly realistic. Obviously, I haven't been able to visit Copenhagen in real life, but I have seen some images and comparisons that, well, kind of give a testament, shall I say, to the quality SCS software has been operating at here, specifically within the Scandinavia refresh and moving forward as well. Should we take part in the viewpoint? I think we should. Let's pull off here and let's have a look at the Copenhagen viewpoint. And just like that, we're greeted with the amusement park, which we're right by as well. What a beautiful detail down here in Copenhagen to include. We'll see how much of the cinematics we get. Oh, it's looking like it's a lot about the amusement park here, which is just incredible to see. It's amazing how far ETS2 has come. It truly is. If you would have told me, back in, say, 2012, that the game would look anything like this today, regardless of the fact that, this region didn't exist in 2012, but you know what I mean. If you would have said even when the Scandinavia DLC came out that we'd have details such as this within the map DLC someday, I don't know if I'd fully believe you. I would have been hopeful, but I don't think I would have ever fully believed you that the game would have been continually updated to the point that it is today. And to that, hats off SCS Software for the continued development and improvement of ATS and ETS2, specifically here on ETS2, and the significant journey it's undergone. And it isn't stopping. That's the crazy part. What I'm saying here, in another 10 years, what is it going to look like? Are we going to be coming back for a Scandinavia Refresh V2? Are we going to be walking around in this area eventually? I don't know. SCS Software has made it fairly clear that they don't want to, or at least it's not on the initial plan to have it like fully walkable, the map, because that would introduce so many different challenges. But things change. Technology changes. Visions for the game change. So we'll just have to wait and see. Comment down below what you think about that one. And where do you think the game in 10 years will be? Both in terms of map and, of course, in terms of gameplay functionality. Beautiful stuff indeed. So, I mean, I realized in the cinematics itself, I didn't really pull over the greatest because I actually left my trailer dangling out in the roadway slightly. So, apologize for that, everyone who was around, but luckily it didn't look like a too crazy busy street, so I think we were okay. But it just goes to show the detail level of Copenhagen is incredible. And if this serves anything to be what Nordic Horizons will turn out to be, and that was a rude way of saying that, but you get what I mean. If this looks like anything like Nordic Horizons, we're in for a treat. And I know from the gameplay previews of Nordic Horizons, the screenshots and so on, that things look incredible. I mean, I would say even better than what we have here in Copenhagen, which is it's not a criticism of Copenhagen at all. It's just a testament to the Nordic Horizons map DLC team and the work they've done for the entire region as a whole. Again, Copenhagen looks incredible, and in many ways is probably equal to much of the Nordic Horizons DLC. Incredible to see. So incredible, and I cannot wait to see where things go in the future. So we gotta just go over to this lane here because we're gonna be going straight through and then making a right. And we're gonna take more of a scenic route today over the Karlskrona. Obviously going here from in Denmark over to Sweden. Got a bunch of yogurt in our trailer today, or just our ownable reefer. It's a base game reefer trailer here in ETS2. With this brand new, well, one of the new Scania super paint jobs. You've seen some of the other ones. Oh, it is green light. Thank you, car, for honking at me. This is one of the new paint jobs. This is the more, well, visually stimulating paint job, shall I say. I did the other paint job not too long ago when using this truck, this super configuration. So there you go. The slightly more involved one does look very good though. A little bit more flashy. So there is that. Decided to put it on back here in the super, obviously, but we'll be starting to introduce some other configurations of trucks here as well. Obviously wanted to make the super well known and utilize it, some of the engine configuration options here, while the truck has been kind of initially launched here with the 1.57 update. No surprise there, but as we move forward, we're going to start to diversify the truck arrangement a little bit more, potentially include some mods as well, but that one may come in a little bit longer time because we've got Nordic Horizons coming out soon, and of course we'll have to wait and see how the mods work all in that with the various game changes that go on there. So roll around, we're getting nice green lights, which is what I like to see, and we'll get on our merry way. We've got to cross over, to believe, a pretty good bridge, and then we've got to take another scenic back road. As I said, I just want to have a little bit more of a scenic delivery along the coast today, just see off, or kind of see some of the different areas, shall we say, of the refresh. I like those smaller areas. I know many of you will know this already about me. I like more of these scenic journeys. I do appreciate the highways and the motorways, but when it comes to just general map expansions and stuff, my preference is definite on the scenic deliveries, or at least the smaller county roads, not as, you know, populated, shall I say, areas. That's what I prefer. That's what I prefer indeed, and that's something I think I'll really enjoy. We're gonna just kind of mosey on through here. Don't mind me. That's something I feel like I'm going to really enjoy about Nordic Horizons. Just the region in general has a lot of scenic possibility, but then also logistic networks as well. There's a lot more of the, shall we say, county road or just smaller road regions is simply included within it. There's not as many major highways. So that's something that I am quite excited about. And I think actually, is it actually just a tunnel that takes us across, not a bridge? Oh no, it is a bridge. Just a tunnel first. Oh, because I bet you... Is that an air... Oh, no. Okay, so it's a tunnel there. And then a bridge here. Oh. Well, there you go. The truck is struggling. We've got a lot of yogurt on us today. Obviously, the 560 horsepower engine in the 560. Thank you, Scania, for making naming conventions very easy. But this is lovely indeed. And I am getting... I am getting achievement after achievement here. Going across this bridge from going into the tunnel and then also crossing the bridge here as well. Absolutely stunning. Again, this region has come a long way. Say what you want about a refresh versus a full rebuild. There was a lot of work done, and the Scandinavia DLC refresh or rework, there was a lot done. It wasn't just a slap a few new, coloring and textures on things. There were some fairly significant architectural changes that happened as well. Was it to the point that, it was a ground up rework in all areas? Well, no. Obviously, Copenhagen was fully reworked from the ground up, but it per se wasn't everywhere else. But there was also still a lot of work done to get it to where it is today. And I think it will serve really well as of course we head up into the Nordic Horizons DLC, not being able to notice so much of the difference between the quality of the two regions, especially as we head up, Copenhagen being reworked in a lot of the main motorway arteries, basically heading up to the Nordic Horizon DLC region. They have been focused on, shall I say, to make sure that then any form of deliveries that go from Germany and up through, of course, into Denmark, Sweden, Finland, etc., that they have a more, inclusive experience and not have such a difference of what the Scandinavia DLC was. So great to see indeed, and so incredibly excited. So incredibly excited to see what happens here with the Nordic Horizons DLC in a few weeks' time. So just like that, we're going to be heading off of some of the main roads here. We're going to head into what is a little bit more of a scenic route, and I probably should have been in the left lane here. So I'm going to apologize greatly to the people on the inside there as I cut across them. Yep, sorry, that's my bad. Wrong lane, but at least I recognized it and called it out. I should have probably done something more about it, but you know what? You live and you learn. You live and you learn, indeed. Trelleborg? Is that how you say it? Again, here comes the Prime Simulation pronunciation on this one. Trelleborg? I don't know. Comment down below. Please help me. Please help me, indeed. Okay, this is one thing about Nordic Horizons I am not looking forward to, but then also looking forward to at the same time, is the pronunciation of many of these cities or town names within the region. Obviously, I do not speak the native dialect of the region, and that can definitely impact some of the pronunciation of select city names and town names as well. Some of them are okay. I can get there, and the research I do can generally help get me at least close to the proper pronunciation. But it doesn't always get me there, or at least doesn't always get me there accurately. So that's where I always call on you, and of course it comes at the expense of, some of my, humiliation on the internet, but that's okay. That's why I'm here. It's entertainment, right? I guess technically my expense, not that it matters to me, because I'm the one who puts it out anyways. So go ahead, roast me all you want in the comments about how I pronounce things. It is what it is. I mean, many of you have said it, and I do appreciate it, that you wouldn't expect to be able to say some of the city names here in Canada or town names here in Canada that I pronounce it as. That is very true as well. And so as we eventually on the American Truck Simulator side get into some more of the Canadian provinces and territories, I'm sure I'll have a few leg up on you, which is going to be a bit of a turn of events, but definitely an exciting one on that side of the games. But over here in ETS2, I've got my work cut out for me, and I do appreciate everyone who does their best to help me out on that one. Again, I do try and look up as much as I can to get at least close on a pronunciation, and there's a lot of great resources out there, but nothing quite like the local touch, and unless if there's something specific about the local touch on the pronunciation, I'm kind of at a bit of a loss. So I do appreciate it. And we've got, looks like some water towers up there, I think. And then they've just got other communication stuff on them. Kind of an interesting location for them, to be honest, but at the same point, the water is just to the right side of us here if I could stay on the road. So that also makes sense, pumping it up to the water tower, and then it serves at least all the homes in this area. If I could stay in your lane, Prime. That would help. Oh, there is a little town right there. That would explain then. That would explain why they've got a couple water towers up on the hill. That makes a lot more sense. Little settlement there in the trees. Now, I am running a little bit fast here today in terms of my speed in this truck as I'm catching up to the ambulance enemy. So, probably should keep that in mind. I think it's an ambulance. Yep. I would say so. Not an expert, but that's what I can kind of conclude from that spelling of it. It's close. As I said, these more country roads across the region are just lovely to explore. You know, dipping underneath what looks like another road or a railway. Assuming that's railway. Yep, I think that's railway. It's really, really neat to just drive through a nice, peaceful, scenic area. Again, I don't mind highways and motorways. Of course I do. But my preference is definitely in these regions where we're driving right now. In these regions where you can take in the scenery, just kind of cruise along, don't have to worry about the highway speeds of stuff, even though we're in a simulator. But still, it's just nice to be able to twist and turn on some of these backcountry roads a little bit more freely, shall we say, than on a highway. A little bit less boring in some ways too, in all honesty. There's just more to see. Some of those nice small details that the map designers put in often lie around here on these roads. So it's really neat to see, and I'm always excited to be able to get out here and do some driving across these roads. Some days obviously are more peaceful than others, depending on what goes on, well, with my driving, which is always a bit of a unknown, to say the least, but that is okay. Looks like we got to exit here at the interchange. Actually, kind of a neat interchange. There's roundabout with a bunch of rock. Kind of an interesting looping interchange itself. Obviously not a overly high capacity interchange. Thank you, game. I know. You don't need to continually remind me about the about all the dinging of cars. As much as I need it at times, it's not always required. Yes, I do hit a lot of vehicles and a lot of things, and you see that plenty of times in these videos, and of course in the shorts that go up in the different forms of short form content that I do. It just happens. It just happens, and I'm happy to show it off. But in the same sense, trucks don't always have to remind me of how close I'm getting to select things, especially if I'm not actually getting that close. That is the one annoying part. I don't know if in real life these trucks do the same thing. For those who drive some of these modern trucks in real life, let me know this. is it actually fairly realistic to have the, the proximity alert or the blindside monitoring go off for no apparent reason? Or is it pretty good now at being able to tell, a fence post? If it gives you some extra margin, like how sensitive is it actually in the trucks? Is the game here in ETS2 more sensitive than the real life trucks? I'd like to know that. Specifically on the proximity alert, I often feel like, I'm indicating at an intersection like you saw earlier in this video in Copenhagen, and it starts to go off, and it's just because there's a tree by a trailer. To me, that shouldn't be setting off the proximity alert, especially when I'm centered in the lane. But it does here in ETS2 often, and that's the way it is. So I guess my options are don't indicate, or at least not have the indicator on for very long, or just put up with it, I guess, unless if I turn it off in the game technically, but I don't really want to do that because the trucks that have it should, have it enabled by default, at least in my view. So again, let me know how sensitive it actually is in real life. I'd like to know, and maybe that will then change how I manipulate the usage of it here in ETS2. That's something I'd like to know from your perspective. So we're on our final stretch here, getting very, very close to Karlskrona itself. Obviously, a place we've visited already here in the reworked section. And some of you may even recognize this location we're driving through from a particular video's thumbnail. Just putting that out there. I've been here before very, very, very recently, and I may or may not have used that rock cut for a nice screenshot. Just saying. little tidbit for those who are here near the end. I do appreciate you sitting through this video. It may not be the most, formal, shall we say, video, but I think that's good in its own sense. Sometimes, I can get a little bit caught up in the really structured way of commentary, which is good. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I do like having a little bit more of these natural deliveries every here and there where we're just talking away. Okay, so it's indicating, or it's giving me a kind of like I don't know if that was blindside or if that was proximity for the car going by me. Technically, he was in my blind spot when he got past the edge of the trailer there where it's turned, but I don't feel like that's the appropriate place and time for that alarm to go off. Anyways, sometimes these deliveries where it's a little bit more just the general conversation, a little bit more relaxed, is quite nice as well. And we'll be doing a lot more of this as well. Don't worry about that. There'll be, of course, plenty of news to talk about, but there'll be also plenty of just general conversation and some different styles of content coming very, very soon as well. The last touches are on a few things that go along with it, which is going to be very exciting indeed, and I cannot wait for that one. But there's a lot going on here around the channel. Some things you see, some things you cannot. And fortunately, I have some extra time to be able to get some of the things done, and they're just about completed, which is very exciting. Some things that are taking more administrative time than I hoped for, but are necessary for the channel moving forward. And some things that you see, like the more frequent videos. And I think that box fan's gonna let us go, or at least now we're just forcing our way through. So where do I have to actually go? Over here, I think. So we're gonna come around, use the steerable axle on this trailer, and yep, it's right there. Nice tight delivery that's going to be a blindside reverse. Lovely. So we need to kind of get rolling backwards here so I can see what I'm doing and get it to start cutting in. Steerable axle is already playing a bit of havoc with my line, but we're okay so far. Yeah, we're okay so far. We're going to be very close to that trailer at this point. I need to turn the other way. Give us some leeway. Okay, now cut back. How I didn't hit that trailer, I don't know. Or maybe I did scrape up all the on the side of my trailer. I don't really know actually at this point, to be honest. I didn't feel it in the wheel, if that is anything to say. And it looked like it was very, very close. But I think I may have just squeaked this in just about perfectly. There we go. You know what? I'll take that. I think we did just squeak by here without actually hitting anything. So you know what? All things considered, a successful delivery. Thank you all so much for watching. What a great episode here on ETS2. Once again, 1.57 official update is out for everyone. Hopefully you're not having too many issues with it. And for those who are, keep an eye on some of your mods. Either try and remove them from your profile to get things working again, or wait for updates to come to try and improve those. Otherwise, comment down below what you want to see, or hop into the community Discord and interact with some of the other Prime Simulation community members, showing off your rig and so on. It's a great community over there. Highly recommend you checking it out if you haven't done so already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.